Hi everybody, you're with Renée Altakriti, the founder and master educator of SQT Bio-Microneedling here in Australia. And today joining us, we have the lovely Kirsty from Wildflower Skin Clinic. Welcome, Kirsty.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No, my absolute pleasure. So, the purpose of today is we're just going to have a little bit of a chat about our most loved treatment, SQT by microneedling. And then, yeah, just ask you a few questions. So, happy for you to share with us your experiences on SQT, what it's done for your clinic, and the transformations that we're getting for our client, which I think is the most important thing, right? Like people want those results and they want them as of yesterday. And we've got such a brilliant treatment. We've been gifted with the most beautiful treatment. So going back to it and SQT in your clinic, tell me a little bit about one client transformation that made you so certain that SQT was actually going to revolutionize your practice, and what did you see that you'd never seen before?
I think if I look back, one of the first clients that I came across where I was a little bit unsure with how I was going to treat her, to paint the picture, she was about 55 years old. She'd had a lot of lasers, a lot of high intensity treatments done before in the past. She had a lot of severe acne scarring, a lot of pitting in the skin. And she was around that 55-year-old age, and she had been wanting to treat it for, the last 40 years, and she had tried so many different things. And I was a little unsure, to be honest, if this was going to be, something that would make a lifetime of change. I knew that it would make a change, but I just didn't know what that looked like. And I was really honest with her, and I said, if you've tried, multiple different things from like, resurfacing lasers and, all these really intense treatments, like I was just explaining the technology to her basically, and just, really excited about it, at least, making her skin healthier, because that's the most important part. And then she came in and I said, well, we are going to do some back-to-back treatments over like fortnightly basis. And the reduction in her scarring was just insane. Like I get like chill from it, because I just couldn't believe that this product had made such a big impact. The first
Yeah.
session, I just couldn't believe it. I thought it was like my camera was off a little bit, or like, like it looked completely different. And then I did the second one 2 weeks later, and it was like a 50% reduction in like 2 treatments. And I just thought, like, this
Wow.
scarring has been there for, 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
Like, that is life changing, like technology has come so far, and yet something so natural had made such a big difference. And
Yeah.
it was really cool. It was really cool.
And that's, as you say, Kirsty, like it's natural. We're not using a device or needles or acids or chemicals. And, it's just such, I feel the same in my clinic. Like, wow, did that just happen? Hang on, let me just check those photos again. It's such a gift to us, right? So
Yeah.
we've all had those clients that we've had to turn away and or postpone because they've either had acne or their barrier's been impaired. So what was it like for the first time that you could confidently treat a skin condition that you might have had to exclude in the past?
I think that one that comes to mind is I had this really young girl come in with her mum. She wanted to try a TikTok facial. So she'd actually brought in a example of this TikTok facial, and her mum wanted to get her onto a drug, Roaccutane, and they were kind of toying against each other on what they wanted to do moving forward. You can tell both were quite frantic. She had a real cystic, inflammatory type acne. She was very, very inflamed. And I had only brought SQT in for about a month by then, but I'd seen it work really well on acne before in the past. And so I sat there and I educated them through just, what this could be. And I made them come back after the treatment that they had done, within the 48 hours, because I just really wanted to monitor it closely. And like, the reduction in the redness was like insane. Like it was so inflamed, so red, and I was just then to come back after having the treatment done within those 48 hours,
Mm,
I was like, wow. And she was like crying, and then her mum was like, I'm so happy I don't have to put her on the drugs, because obviously everything has an effect when we put it into our
yeah,
body.
yeah,
And I think, when you're in those desperate stages and you haven't been able to treat your skin before and you feel like you're struggling, sometimes, that is the only way, or can feel like the only way.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, just to be able to provide that for that whole family, just to help, even because it helps their mental health as well. It's a very stressful situation to be in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, Kirsty. I suffered with acne in my teens. And the first thing, this was back, I'm 42, so back 30 odd years ago, all the doctor did was just put you on a pill. And, spending so many years on that, and it's the long-term effects of being on those pharmaceutical drugs. And again, we're not saying that I think they have a place in some
Yeah,
circumstances, but
definitely.
we've got to look at the cause and effect, and is it worth it? Is it worth, putting yourself and your body through other things being on those medicines? Try and exhaust every single avenue. And I think, I wish I had SQT and all the
Mm.
available education as well back when 30 odd years ago. So I think treatment for like education is key, but also consultation and assessing our client's skin. So, what would you say your treatment strategy would be when when you're giving a protocol? What's your most, you know, I guess you could say your best things that you look for, or your top priorities that you look for when you're doing a consult?
Yeah, so we always start our consultation process off with a skin scan. At the end of the day, it was great having a little light when I first started 20 years ago, but now we have these amazing scans and, we can see a lot of different things that are going on under the skin, and it gives us, some ideas on what that could be and what that looks like in the future. But the most important thing, I think, is sitting down with your client and really understanding not only their skin, but them as a person as well. So,
Mm,
understanding what's possible for them, what their treatment could look like, going through diet, going through lifestyle, going through stress, going through
mm,
exercise. We go through absolutely everything, and our consultations go for about 35 minutes.
yeah,
And then after that, we really assess what treatments are going to be great long term. It's all great to have one treatment, but what does that look like long term is really, really important.
yeah,
So we always talk about, what results do we want today and what results do we want this time next year. So sitting
yeah,
that down and mapping that out is really, really important for a client. And it's
yeah.
really important that you just sit there, and the consultation should be more about just listening, because I think sometimes we can push a lot of knowledge onto people without just taking a breath and listening to what they want to
Yeah.
say about their skin as well. So, yeah, definitely a very thorough consultation and very holistic as well. It's really important that it's a puzzle, it's a giant puzzle skin. And
Yes.
you've
Yeah.
just met this person for the first time. So it's about, trying to put those puzzle pieces together.
And they're some people are very vulnerable. And then you don't just have the vulnerability, they've probably exhausted every other avenue from peels and microneedling and acids and, really intense and ablative treatments. So some of them I find in my clinic, they don't want to go back through all that again. They want something niche and different, something that gives them that light at the end of the tunnel. And I
Yeah.
know for me, SQT is exactly what that's given me and my clients in clinic.
Yeah.
But when you have a think back to like that pivotal moment yourself with SQT, like whether it was during your training, your first treatment, or a client result, where you thought this is completely different from everything else I've used, what would be that one moment?
I think when I first joined SQT, I was a baby business, so very, very new. And for me, it made a lot of sense. It means I could have it in multiple different rooms running at the same time without having to outlay a massive cost for equipment. But then it also meant I could treat multiple different skins, with the
Yeah.
same product.
Yeah.
I think, I always like to back people. And, obviously meeting with yourself and Penny and, really getting to know like the family behind SQT was really important to me as well. The education was top tier. I really enjoyed it. It was so simple and so easy to do.
Yeah.
I think one of the things I really came across, I really wanted to use it for was, darker Fitzpatricks. I think sometimes they get left behind in the equipment that we're able to use with them. And when I found out that this could be used on them, I was really, really excited. So
Yeah.
that's, yeah.
Yeah, I think they were my loves. Obviously, the acne, the fact that we don't have to turn people away because they've got acne and send them on a big long routine. We can get them in and start to working on treatment straight away, of course, with the tailored home care. Yeah, it's brilliant. And the dark skins, because when I work back in Sydney, again, a lot of my clients are Fitzpatrick 4, 5, 6 with ethnic
Yeah.
backgrounds, and not all treatments are suitable, especially your ablative treatments that can give
Yeah.
you that risk of PIH. So,
Yeah. And
and
the results on those clients are insane. Sorry to interrupt you, but they are
no,
insane. Like,
yeah,
clearing acne and not having any, leftover pigmentation on those clients is it's just like
yeah,
unbelievable. It's too
amazing.
good.
Yeah. So, lastly, Kirsty, what would you tell your client who's watching right now? So, if someone's watching the video who's been struggling with, say, acne, pigment, scarring, something that they've given up on, what would you want them to know about what's actually possible for their skin?
Every skin needs a deep understanding. And it has to be factored in a wide variety of consults to be able to get the results that you want. But when you find the results and the right approach, you get the right results. And your skin isn't damaged or it hasn't been failed. It is beautiful just the way it is, and
Mm.
there is a solution for you.
And chasing, beautifully said, definitely, because people, like you said before, are following TikTok trends and,
Yeah.
Instagram reels and thinking, oh, that'd be good for me. And they already have a picture in their mind that that's for them when it might not necessarily be. And I think it's having that, and you seem to do it really well. You've got that sort of authority in the industry where you're steadfast on, no, this is why you're coming to me and this is how I'm going to be able to help you, and it's
Yeah.
working together, and it's a multifaceted approach. Skin always has been and should be about, right, what treatment can we do mixed with your home care, your sun protection, it's your environmental impacts and stresses, as you said before. So amazing. Thank you very much, Kirsty,
You're
for
so
joining
welcome.
our little podcast today, and I appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing more of your incredible results. And if you're not already following Kirsty, she's at Wildflower Skin Clinic, and you're located in Western Australia.
Awesome. Thanks, Renée.
Thanks very much for that. Thank you.